Good afternoon, everybody. Coming to you from Copacabana in Rio. Enjoy this beautiful view. Got the beach behind us. We'll be talking a little bit about Prop Professor's Fantasy Optimizer, talking about some settings, talking about how we can make our betting even more efficient. Right now, just enjoy that beautiful view behind me. You can see this is pretty much all of Copacabana. Once you get past those buildings out there, on the other side is actually the other beach. It's called Ipanema. Both of them actually have songs written after it. Kind of a light traffic day. This is actually kind of entering their fall season. This would be what we would call October up on the northern hemisphere. Again, we'll give you some plays just right now. Enjoy the view, and we will talk to you in a little bit. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to this edition of Prop Professor's Fantasy Optimizer. Again, we're on the Underdog tab. We know we prefer here at this channel, FN Sports, we like using Underdog and Dabble because they have the most plays that are 3-pick non-insured 55%. So there's been a lot of talk about weights and what kind of weights we can use and what are weights actually. It's actually one of the newer features added to Prop Professor. I typically don't use weights, but we're actually going to today just do a little bit of a dive into it and just do some playing around with the weights. I think the best way to kind of use these websites is actually to punch the buttons and actually get into it and see if it works. So right now we're on Underdog. We have 3-pick non-insured, and we come over here and we have about, I'm going to refresh this one more time, and we have approximately all the way down to 3-pick non-insured, I'd say about 8 to 9 plays. So we know our rules. We want at least some data points, at least 2 to 4, depending if FanDuel's here. So this first one is Jasper Floyd, player points under 10.5. We have FanDuel. They have a new addition here. This is a prop builder. Basically, it's a very sharp, I don't want to call it a sports book, but basically we'll call it a sports book for this conversation. So we have FanDuel Sharp, we have Prop Builder Sharp, and we have ProfitX, which I pretty much consider sharp. Over here, we don't have any more sports books, but we do have FanDuel, so we could use this as a play since we generally with FanDuel, I'm comfortable taking one more data point. Again, this is just personal preference. You can do whatever you need to. These are just techniques only. Come over here, second one, 56.9%. We've got DraftKings, Fliff right there. It even says, once you highlight it, it tells you that's Fliff Sportsbook. And then the rest here, which I will caution, there's a lot of reference points for this play, but most of them are other daily fantasy sites. So I kind of don't like to use them as reference points, and they essentially have the same kind of criteria, so I kind of avoid those. I like to look for real hard and fast sports books. So this one I wouldn't take since there's really only one and only 2 data points, not one of them being FanDuel. Again, technique only. Come over here, Patrick Williams, Caesars, DraftKings. We have Pinnacle, and we have Fliff, Bovada. We have plenty of data points, so we could definitely use that as a play. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go to this filter page, a setting page basically. You just hit this button right there. Come over here. I don't have any weight. So you're asking, what is weight? Well, weight is just a fancy way of saying, give me at least so many sports books to reference. Again, we look for data points, right? So we'll put 2, okay? Come over here. I like to do 12 hours away. Again, you can do 24. You can do a week away. I like to stay kind of closer to the matchups just because of an injury news or lineup changes. You can even reduce this down to 6 to 8 hours if you want, but 12 should catch most of the games tonight. I like to hide push. Again, this is personal preference. You don't have to. We hit save. So we get it right here. It says settings successfully saved. Now we scroll down, advanced settings. And I already had these preset in here, but I'll just kind of show you what I did. And we'll hit 1, FanDuel Sharp, Caesars Sharp. Again, this is just based on information I've kind of gathered on what's kind of a sharp book for props. So DraftKings sharp, Prop Builder we said was sharp, Circa is sharp. They don't have as many prop plays, but the ones they do are fairly considered sharp. The only thing with them is they typically don't have as many prop plays, but again, we'll save them. Pinnacle will hold off for a second. They're not as sharp on prop plays, definitely on NBA, maybe more in baseball. Novig I'll consider sharp, and ProfitX I'll consider sharp. Bookmaker, similar to Circa, very sharp book. You just don't get that many plays. So hit save. One thing we won't do is we won't hit required. So now that we have all these in here, we got a minimum weight. So it's basically telling us we need 2 data points, and we have these in here to equal our weight of 2 data points is basically what we're saying. So let's just see if this changes anything. And again, this is a pretty bare bone minimum, so I may not change it much. We'll come back over here, go to Underdog, go to 3-pick non-insured. That's what I prefer doing. Again, that's pure technique. You can get definitely better value on a 6-pick insured at Underdog at 53.7%. Again, we've talked about this also. This basically means that we only need a hit rate of 53.7, while on the 3-pick non-insured, we need 55%. That's a 1.3% gain right here on the 6-pick insured. But again, sometimes it's tough to find 6 players, especially closer to game time, a lot of changes, and you're just frustrated trying to get these plays in, and oh, well, that changed, now I got to do this. 3 is easier than 6. I'm willing to take a little bit of a hit on the percentage and get the 3-pick non-insured. Again, Underdog has that, so does Dabble. They also have the 3-pick 55%. So those are the 2 I primarily use. Anyway, we're going to go back here. We have our filters on. We're going to refresh this, see if anything really changed. So we still have Jasper Floyd. I believe now we have Patrick Williams in here. And all this is really doing for us is making our hunting a lot more efficient. It's basically we're telling the settings, hey, I need 2 data points. I want to put weight on some sharp books, and it's going to try to show those in there and give you a better sense, as opposed to you having to see, okay, is this book represented? Is this book not? And then it does a little bit more of the thinking for you. So that's the advantage right here. Like this one, right? Beautiful play. Patrick Williams, points, rebounds, assists, under 16.5, 57.3. You have 3, 4, 5, 6 data points, 7 even, before we get to the actual daily fantasy sites. So that's really what the weights do for us right there. We still have a couple in there. Tillis is in there. 8 and Right, I believe, was in the previous one too. So let's just go back and reset everything and see if there's any big differences. So we'll reset the filters here. Come here, make this still 12 hours away. I like to hide my pushes. That's just personal. We'll save that. Come here. I'll reset all the filters where none of these have any weights. And then we'll come back over here. So what we got going on. Go back to Underdog. 3-pick non-insured. We're looking for green plays. So we still have some of the same guys up here. So the 2 data points is really not that much of a difference because most of them are going to have 2 sports books represented. And that's why I personally don't do the weights. If I were to, I would probably put it at 4. The drawback there is you're really then putting restrictions on your search, and you may or may not get some plays. But I feel at this point, especially, go to compact view, I can scroll fairly quick, see, okay, there's some representation right there. Value's decent. I'll probably take this play. Same here. So I personally don't do weights. Again, there's nothing wrong with them. It makes your searching a lot more efficient, but I think I can do it just as quick without the weights. Some people enjoy them. I kind of play with them a little bit, but the main thing we're doing here is just play with the weights. You can even come here, make this minimum weight, 10. That means we need 10 sportsbook, but you can also put most of the weight on FanDuel, which means you really don't need 10. FanDuel will give you majority of the percentage of the weight because we know FanDuel is sharp. So there's different ways of doing this. I'm going to reset this before I forget. And then put that at 12. And then, so I typically like to keep it like this, just 12 hours away. I don't like to have push bets. Again, personal preference. You're more than welcome to hide push, and then I just keep the weight at 0, and then just leave these alone, and then I just do my own quick little reference on it. I know what I'm looking for. I like 3-pick non-insured. They work out really well. This weekend was great. I was up 19 units. Does that mean that always happens? Is that some skill? Maybe. Is that a lot of variance? Obviously, there's a lot of that in there too. There's days I've lost, 6, 7, 8 units. So to say that, I'm not going to go give you pie in the sky and every weekend is going to be a 19-unit weekend. We all know how this works. But you're just doing the best you can with the plus EV betting to make it work. So I'm here with no filters on, or no settings, I should say, and I'm still getting a pretty good idea of what I need to look for and take these plays, and there's some good ones. Definitely Floyd, Williams, let's see, Tillis has one. He's got FanDuel. There you go. Probably take that play. So there's my 3 people right there, 3-person play that I could take. So real quick here, I just want to add this into the very end. Come over here. And this right here, these are just guidelines. Again, you can take a picture of this. You can kind of use it as a reference point, put it in your back pocket. Maybe you don't even agree with any part of this, and that's fine too. It works for me. It keeps it, again, I believe in the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. It works great for me. So these are basic techniques for Prop Professor's Fantasy Optimizer. Minimum criteria for Underdog and Dabble. Look for plays that are 55% or above, 3-man non-insured. Look for a minimum 2 data points if FanDuel is one of these data points, preferably sportsbooks. If FanDuel is not present, use a minimum of 4 data points, preferably sportsbooks. Go for green, caution for yellow, stop for red. Pretty simple, right guys? Based on these other criteria. Number 5, minimize the use of other daily fantasy sites as data points. So look for sports books, basically is what that means. So again, you can go reference that, take a picture of it, screenshot it, just and then maybe add some of your own stuff to it. This is all, kind of plug and play. Baseball starting up soon, or already started up, so it's brand new in the season. We don't know how baseball is going to be. So we don't know what a sharp book for baseball yet is. It's too early. We have ideas, but we don't quite know yet. So NBA, we have a fairly good grasp. It's kind of, deep in the season. So that's kind of how it works with the weights. So again, I just want to tell you right now what a weight really means is by putting in, say, 3, you're just telling it, I want 3 data points. If you put in 4, I want 4 data points. If you put in 0, I don't want any data points. Well, if I put in 0 and I have my own rules anyway, so I don't really need the weights, but I may start also kind of comparing myself to see if the weights are efficient or not. It does make some of the searching efficient. So that's about it for today. I just wanted to go kind of do a little bit of a dive into the weight section of the Fantasy Optimizer for Prop Professor. Again, if you guys can do me a huge favor, please subscribe. It helps me out. Please hit that like button. And until then, we will talk to you next time.